With just over 2 weeks of this year left, are you thinking about perhaps what New Year's resolutions that you want to make? Or maybe you're just wanting to change a particular habit that you have. Perhaps you're someone who historically has had all good intentions and you start, but before long, the new habit is a thing of the past. Well, first of all, you're not alone. And this is why today we're diving deep into Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a game changing book about how small habits, when compounded over time, can lead to life altering results. So, whether you're looking to build new habits, break bad ones, or make lasting changes, this video will provide actionable insights that can transform your daily routines and ultimately your life. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And in this particular video, I'll share some of the key lessons from Atomic Habits by James Clear and break down 4 practical tools that you can implement immediately to build better habits that stick. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty, let's just take a step back for a moment and understand what Atomic Habits is all about. In the book, James Clear explains that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money compounds and grows over time, so do your habits. Small, seemingly insignificant actions can lead to massive life-changing outcomes when done consistently over a long period of time. Now, the word atomic in the title refers to something small but powerful, like an atom. Now, your habits are the atoms of your life. They are tiny routines that make up your day, and they determine your outcomes, whether you're aware of them or perhaps not. Now, this concept is so simple, yet so profound. Change your habits, change your life. Clear's book isn't just about drastic overnight transformations. Instead, it emphasizes how incremental 1% improvements, when compounded over months and years, can lead to extraordinary results. The message here is powerful. You don't need to overhaul your entire life to create change. You just need to take small, meaningful adjustments. That's all. Now that we understand the core premise of Atomic Habits, let's dive into 4 key lessons that stand out from the book and how they apply to real life. One of the most significant insights and the first lesson from Atomic Habits that I would love to share with you is the 1% improvement principle. James Clear emphasizes that small changes, just 1% improvements, are the key to achieving monumental transformations. Now, many of us are perhaps stuck in the mindset that to change our lives, we need to make massive sweeping changes. But in reality, it's the small tweaks that add up over time. This is often called the aggregation of marginal gains. Now, Clear uses the analogy of an aeroplane adjusting its direction by just 1%. At the start, that 1% seems trivial, but over the course of a long flight, it leads to an entirely different destination. Similarly, when you improve by 1% each day, those tiny gains accumulate into something far more substantial over the long run. So let's say you're trying to improve your health. You don't need to adopt a hardcore diet or start working out 2 hours a day immediately. Instead, aim for just 1% improvement. This could be as simple as eating 1 additional serving of vegetables each day or doing a 5-minute walk. These small changes, they feel manageable, but over time as well, they'll drastically change your health. Now, the second lesson and another concept from Atomic Habits is the idea of identity-based habits. Most people start by focusing on what they want to achieve, things like losing weight, writing a book, or earning more money. But James Clear teaches that lasting change comes from focusing on who you want to become, not what you want to achieve. So here's an example. If you're trying to build a habit of exercising, instead of setting a goal like, I want to lose 10 pounds, Shift your mindset to focus on the kind of person that you want to be. Tell yourself, I'm the kind of person who prioritizes their health and exercises regularly. Now, by aligning your habits with your identity, you'll be more motivated to take consistent action. Now, this approach is powerful because it taps into your sense of self. When you begin to believe that you are the kind of person who exercises or reads daily, your actions naturally will begin to follow. So rather than forcing yourself to stick to a goal, you're embodying the identity that makes that behavior feel natural. So let's say you want to become a writer. Instead of setting a goal to write a book by the end of the year, start by identifying yourself as a writer. When you see yourself as a writer, you're more likely to write consistently because it's what writers do. Now, this subtle but profound shift makes the behavior feel like a part of who you are. Clear breaks down the third lesson of habit formation into 4 distinct stages, which he calls the habit loop. Now, this loop applies to both good habits and the not so good habits, and understanding is essential to building or breaking habits. So the 4 stages. Firstly, the cue. This is the trigger that initiates the habit. It's the reminder or the prompt that starts the behavior. Now, the second stage is the craving or the desire that the cue creates. It's the motivation to do something in response to the cue. The next stage is the response itself. This is the actual habit or action that you perform as a result of the cue and the craving. And the 4th stage is the benefit you get from performing the habit. This could be a feeling of accomplishment, relief, or satisfaction. For example, let's say you have a habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning. The cue might be waking up. The craving is the need for stimulation or entertainment. And the response is checking your phone. And the reward is the dopamine hit you get from seeing notifications or scrolling through social media. So to change a habit, you need to address one of these 4 stages. If you want to stop checking your phone in the morning, you may change the cue by moving your phone out of reach or out of the room. Or you could address the craving by finding a healthier way to satisfy it, like reading or meditating. We often hear that to change a habit, we need more willpower or self-control. But James Clear, in the 4th lesson, argues that your environment plays a far more significant role in shaping your habits than willpower ever will. In fact, your environment can either make or break your success. Clear writes that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And what this means is that even the best intentions can fail if your environment is set up to encourage bad habits. For example, if you want to eat healthier, it's not just about relying on willpower to resist junk food. Instead, redesign your environment so that the healthy choice is the easy choice. Keep fresh fruits and vegetables at the front of your fridge and place unhealthy snacks out of sight. Similarly, if you want to work out in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before to reduce friction. When you shape your environment to support your habits, you make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Now that we've covered some of the key lessons from the book, let's talk about 4 practical tools that you can implement starting today. These tools will help you apply the wisdom of atomic habits to your life in a tangible way. So the first tool, habit stacking, it's one of the most effective strategies for building new habits. The concept is simple. You take an existing habit that's already part of your routine and you stack a new habit on top of it. The reason that habit stacking works so well is that your brain is already wired to follow a certain sequence of habits. By adding a new habit to that sequence, it becomes easier to remember and perform. For example, if you already brush your teeth every morning, which, let's be frank, most of us do, you can stack a new habit on top of it. Let's say you want to start a meditation practice. You could stack your meditation habit right after brushing your teeth by saying, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 5 minutes. This strategy is especially helpful when you're trying to build small habits that you want to stick to with long-term success. So since the existing habit is already ingrained in your routine, the new habit becomes easier to adopt. The second tool I want to share from Atomic Habits is the 2-minute rule. Now, the idea with this is simple. When you're trying to start a new habit, begin by doing it for just 2 minutes. This helps you overcome the initial resistance that often stops us from starting new habits in the first place. For example, if you want to start reading more, instead of setting a goal to read for 30 minutes every day, make your goal to read for just 2 minutes. You'll find that once you start, you'll often end up continuing for longer. But even if you stop after 2 minutes, you've still made progress. You see, the beauty of the 2-minute rule is that it makes habits so easy that it's almost impossible not to do them. And over time, once the habit is established, you can gradually increase the time and the intensity. Now, the third tool, and one of the most powerful ways to ensure that you follow through on a habit, is by using implementation intentions. Now, this means being specific about when and where you'll perform your habit. So instead of just saying, I'll exercise tomorrow, you create a clear plan, such as I'll do 20 minutes workout at 7 a.m. in my living room. The more specific you are, the more likely you are to follow through. Research has shown that people who use implementation intentions are much more likely to stick to their habits because they remove the ambiguity and provide a clear roadmap for the action step. And the fourth of the 4 tools that I want to share with you is habit tracking. There's something incredibly motivating about visually tracking your progress. So whether it's a simple calendar where you mark an X for each day that you completed your habit, or it's a dedicated habit tracking app, or it's a piece of paper, the act of tracking keeps you accountable and encourages consistency. James Clear shares that one of the most effective forms of habit tracking is the don't break the chain method. Each day you complete your habit, you put a check mark or an X on your calendar. As the chain of completed days grows, you become more motivated to keep going because you don't want to actually break the streak. So now that we've talked about the lessons and the tools, it's important to address why so many people struggle to stick to new habits. The truth is, changing behaviour is hard. It's not just about motivation or willpower. It's about changing the systems in place that support your current habits. Now, a common mistake is trying to rely on sheer willpower to make a change. As we discussed earlier, environment plays a critical role in habit formation. If your environment isn't set up for success, it's easy to fall back into old patterns. Now, another reason that people struggle is that they set unrealistic goals or expect results too quickly. Habits take time to form and progress is often slow at first, so you need patience and a long-term perspective. Remember, it's the 1% rule. Small changes compounded over time lead to massive results. Atomic Habits, the book, is packed with actionable insights, and by focusing on small, consistent improvements, you can create massive change over time. Remember, habits are the building blocks of your life. When you make small improvements, those 1% changes compound into extraordinary results. So to recap, we've learned about the 1% rule, the importance of identity-based habits, the 4 stages of habit formation, and how your environment can shape your habits more than willpower alone. And also, I've given you 4 powerful tools to help you implement these lessons: habit stacking, the 2-minute rule, implementation intentions, and habit tracking. Remember, habits are the building blocks of our lives. By focusing on small, consistent improvements, aligning your habits with your identity, and setting up your environment for success, you can create lasting change. So, which of these tools are you going to start using today? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear, and I will respond to every single comment that I get. If you found this value in this video, and if it helped for me to break down James Clear's book, please be sure to like it, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And feel free to share this with someone else who you may know will benefit from it. I look forward to seeing you the next time for more content on creating a life that you love living. See you in the next video.